desired effect. It happened. It was a big win. It was awesome. So, but I say all that to say, I watch that movie all the time,
Yeah,
weekly.
me too.
It drives my wife crazy because I'll put it on before I go to bed. Like that's what I
Hmm.
want on. Now I've got Black Adam in the mix.
Yeah, let's go there real quick.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where
Yeah.
was a whole huge intro of me running my mouth about nothing to say these are some of my favorite films,
Hmm.
and this was the promise that they were going to bring it back. This was the bridge. This bridge was either going to lead to a restoration of the Snyderverse or confirmation that we're done, that there is nothing else. And before this movie came out, which is why I'm doing this whole big lead up, because The Rock himself said, I can't even wait any longer. Henry Cavill is in this movie as Superman.
Hmm.
We didn't get him in the end of Shazam, but we got his suit.
Yeah.
We didn't get him at the end of Peacemaker, but we got his silhouette. You know, so they've been flirting with this whole idea of are we doing this or are we not? Henry Cavill comes back at the end of October. He does a whole thing on the internet saying, yes, I am back. I am wearing the cape. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for fighting. 2 months later, James Gunn goes, nah, guys, we're doing something completely different. We're getting rid of him. We're doing a younger Superman.
Yeah.
So I go into this movie so deflated, Dan, because I know that I'm going to see him. It's going to what that was supposed to do for me. Just it's like it's like seeing an old lover with their new lover. So I went into the movie with that just deflated lack of hope.
Hmm.
And in any other time, that probably would have ruined the movie for me. You know, when I know there's a whole bunch of SJW stuff in a movie that I'm looking forward to watching, and then I get there, I'm like, okay, I'm not able to separate
Hmm.
my desire to see this movie from my fear of what's going to be in it. You
Yeah.
know, like a lot of times it's like I need to go ahead and get to the part where they do the thing that I don't necessarily like or agree with, or I just need them to do the thing where they're checking their boxes so they can say, look how diverse and inclusive we are, and get the bad writing out of the way.
Hmm.
And then I can make a determination whether or not I can enjoy the film or the game. And that's a me problem, I know. But I went into this film just with that level of just deflation, you know? And I walked away freaking loving it. I was like, you
Hmm.
know what? This was good. This could be something. So now I want to turn it over to you. I really liked it, first impressions. I thought it was really good.
It's it's officially my first dad movie. Where
Okay.
it's that movie that you watch like a million times and no one understands why, and then your kids are like, "He's just crazy." Like that's how my dad was with the Underworld movies. He had like all of them,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. It's like these movies aren't great, but he loves them. I saw Black Adam, and that's the first movie in years that I saw in the theater that made me feel good. Because I was like, that was 2 hours of dudes in the sky punching each other
Yeah.
like Dragon Ball Z. Um, like I loved it. I could gush about this movie. I saw it 6 times in theaters. I mean, I only paid to see it once because the theater down the road from me is run by like modern teenagers, like Billie Eilish teenagers, not like James Dean teenagers.
Okay.
So I just walk by them and they don't say anything.
They're too busy looking at Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah, they're too sad and too frail. They haven't eaten meat in like 2 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah, these kids have never got spanking before. So.
But anyway, man, I can't say enough about it. I mean, there are parts of it that has its flaws. Like I know the editing, like there's jump cut editings in like where they're arguing in the ship
Yeah.
and little stuff like that. But I mean, dude, it was like to me it was like the perfect synthesis of DC and with Marvel humor in a good way. I mean, I'll just start from the beginning. Like, it has one of the coolest hero introductions ever. Like when he appears and he like just kills all those dudes.
Yeah.
It's one of
Yes.
the coolest looking things I've ever seen. And it's like, and then it's just, I mean, The Rock fills out the suit. He's huge. He's massive.
Yep. He fits the part so well.
I know, and then it's like it's right after it's just it's action, 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 action. It's just to me, I love the fast pace of it. Like it's so fast paced. It does not stop. It does not
Yep.
slow down. The guys who played, I mean, I gotta applaud The Rock for taking a step back and letting Pierce Brosnan and Aldous
Dude.
Hodge just kill it as Hawkman. Hawkman, I had never cared about Hawkman before, and now he's one of my favorite characters ever on screen because Hodge killed it. Like, when's the last time you saw like a super masculine hero on screen?
Yeah, yeah. He was decent. I think he did a good job in the role.
Yeah.
I just think that the role they had him playing was a little odd for me. Um, that was one of my big hangups with the movie. Not that he was a bad Hogman, but Hogman as the leader having the weird negotiations with people, but then also doing the you and me in the ship.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
love that.
he had the humor too.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Hawkman portrayed like that as like
I
the
know
leader
he
of a
was the
group.
leader of the JSA. Like I know
I
that
just
canonically he was. But I mean, I'm with you. But that's what made me love it. I was like, this guy is awesome. Like,
you, me, the ship. But yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I thought the casting was really good. I had no idea. Again, I don't. I've read some JSA. I've never
mhm.
read JSA with Hogman
I
in
hadn't
such a
either.
predominant role. And I'm trying to think. I feel like Hawkman, he was portrayed in Constantine, wasn't he?
I don't think so. No.
There's a Hawkman story where him and
Oh,
or is it
I thought you meant the Keanu Reeves movie. I'm sorry.
no, I think it's the show, like
Okay,
the
then
show
yeah, yeah,
comes.
yeah. I could see that.
And maybe it's not the show. I'm trying to think
I mean, he is
because he
mystical.
because you have him because basically his thing is he dies and
Hmm.
Hawk Girl they die, they reincarnate, and then
Hmm.
they always find each other again.
Yeah.
And they don't know why they're attracted to each other, and then they kind of always figure it out. And then they die, and they do it again. He was portrayed in live action, and I thought that was really good. But I always saw him as more of a side character.
Hmm.
In this movie, they put him up front, which I didn't disagree with. I just was, I didn't recognize that role for him, and I thought it was very interesting. I thought that that guy played a very like Tony Stark type of character, you know, where he's like, I'm a pretty important dude. I've got a
Hmm.
lot of money. I've got a lot of tech. Also, I got to keep you children in line here,
Hmm.
but also I could just go fight this guy right now, and I could probably win. Um, so I thought that they borrowed that Robert Downey Jr. role a little
Swagger.
bit. Yeah, swagger is definitely the best way to put it. Yeah, definitely, and it worked. But dude, Pierce Brosnan as Doctor
Oh
Fate,
man, he killed it.
that just worked, man.
Yeah.
That worked so. I could watch a whole Doctor Fate movie.
Hmm. I
Like he just, I didn't realize that's what I needed.
I
you
know
know?
that's what it was so surprising because like when I initially read like the synopsis for it, I'm like, oh man, Doctor Fate, that's a weird combination, in the fight. Black Adam. I was like, nope, you can't really fight Black Adam. He's like a Superman level threat.
Yeah,
But they did that. They went with that, and I didn't know they were going to do Sabak, which I thought was cool. Um, I don't. I mean, you really couldn't have had Shazam in this. That would have been a little too weird. Uh, I got a lot to say about this movie.
do it.
I don't know, man. I absolutely loved it. And I loved the Hawkman character because he was driven, strong, like headstrong too, and dead set on his goal. Like it was he almost had like a Batman vibe except during the day.
Yeah,
And I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw like other than maybe Batman v Superman. I don't remember the last time I saw a hero like that. Like it wasn't some deconstruction thing. He never doubted what he was doing. Like even when the goal ultimately changed, it was just cool seeing a manly dude on screen for once.
yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
um, I there's just a lot, and I'm gonna nerd out a little bit.
Go for it.
That movie did the question, "What is a hero better than any superhero movie I have seen?" The what took Tony Stark like 10 movies to get to, which was, which Captain America did at the beginning, but it asked the question, what is a hero? And it didn't deconstruct it. It's ultimately, it presented Black Adam, which his idea of a hero was his son, which was, a champion chosen by the gods, because he comes from an old world, which is kings and champions are the avatars of the gods. Hawkman, which is the antithesis, comes from, you serve a higher justice, a higher authority on Earth, which was Amanda Waller in this case, or Walker.
Which I thought
Waller.
was,
yeah,
that's another tie-in to the Snyderverse. Like they use her. I'm like, she's the perfect Waller. She is so unlikable.
Yeah.
Like as that character, like you hate her
she
guts,
kills it.
And she embodies Waller. Like that woman, it's a grand slam every time she takes that role. She's so freaking good at it. Like it's like I love her, but I'm like, God, I hate this woman so much.
Well, it's like the kid that played Joffrey. It was like after the first episode, the director was like, "Everybody hates you. Good job." But yeah, you got him. So you have this kind of like neoliberal worldview, of American imperialism. I hate to say it like way, but I mean that's what it is. Versus this old world God King kind of view. And because Black Adam is just killing people left and right, and I mean, his whole thing is, let the gods decide, because that's the world he comes from.
Right.
And, Hawkman's like, no extrajudicial killings. And they put them head to head, like literally head to head, and you see their worldviews clash, and you see them, and they don't lose respect for each other. Like, in fact, they only gain it more, because by the end, I'm going to spoil it for people, the film answers what is a hero, with Dr. Fate sacrificing himself for other people. And that's what the two worldviews, that's the universal, and I hate to go into like a religious thing, but I mean that's the potency of Christianity, is the God that was willing to die for everybody. And but that's what universally is accepted as a hero, is wherever we go from there, what makes a hero is the person who sacrifices themselves for other people.
Yep.
And I don't know, I mean, that sounds so cheesy. I thought that was beautiful. I thought they really, better than any superhero movie I've seen in a long time, asked that question and answered it. And I mean, they even did the Black Adam role very well, because like a more cynical Marvel way would have done it really cheap, but it's he has to become he has to become the champion of the people. Literally, The Rock becomes the people's champion.
People's champion. I know.
because like he doesn't. The conduct needed that kind of. They needed someone to act unilaterally, because they don't have a U.S. military. They don't have, and like I said, I'm not trying to get into the deep politics of it, but that's what it is. It's neoliberal globalism versus old world monarchy, and it doesn't really say which one's right or wrong. It just kind of points out the flaws of both, and then the building block where you start from, the personal responsibility and self-sacrifice. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll stop there.
No, you're good. You're good, because that's the thing, is it comes off, it's portrayed as a Dwayne Johnson, The Rock popcorn action film.
And it is, but it's more.
And it is. And it starts off, it's so good, because I don't know if you noticed in the very beginning, whenever his son was, they found the rock or whatever, like the was it their version of vibranium, was it called?
Yeah, I got you.
Eurotarium or some kind of anyways, that rare metal. Anyways,
Eternium,
yes. But see, The Rock is the father at the time, and you see him kind of turn his head.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's The Rock, yeah.
I was like, that's The Rock. I was like, that's weird. I noticed it, and it never got away from me. And at the end, when it shows his son die and give him the power to be Black Adam, it just clicked, and I was just like, that's so good. That's so good. And and they did, again, borrowing from Man of Steel, the struggle of a man trying to come to terms with, do I even want to be this?
Yeah.
You know, like his nature in the movie is to just be vengeful
Mm-hmm.
and kill everybody, and then go and brood
Mm-hmm.
Batman style. But he's having to come to terms with, well, to be a hero like my son was, I need to be the people's champion.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the chosen one. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what the brooding comes from. You know what I'm saying? It's like I wasn't chosen.
Well,
My son is sacrificed for me.
those are some of the problems that people bring up. The movie answers, like, people will talk about this, like, man, he's a guy from like 6,000 years ago. Like, he has a worldview that you don't have, and to be not chosen by the gods, and then to still have the power, and then you just killed your entire civilization, and your son died for you. I mean, that's a massive weight. Like, that's a ridiculous weight.
Yeah.
And he literally has a death and rebirth and a baptism, like, all in one. Like, he
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
literally has a Christian resurrection to become the hero. And people call those, or used to, 20 years ago, people called those cheesy, but now we live in like a post-biblical world where like 20-year-olds don't even know like the Christian story, so they don't know to insult it, and that's what's kind of funny. But I mean,
Well,
but that's what you're literally seeing, and that's what Snyder had too. Snyder, whether you're a Christian or not, doesn't matter whether you're religious or not, he knew old archetypes and he used them.
yes. Yes. And that's something, his imagery and
Mm-hmm.
his cinematography of the positioning of Superman
Mm-hmm.
in certain scenes where he is almost in the
Yeah. Like,
crucified position,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Well,
But
and
just
he's killed by a spear.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a like the spear of Longinus or whatever, Longinus, whatever you say.
Oh, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. They give me chill bumps talking about this kind of stuff, man. That stuff gets me hyped. That's why the freaking reason why I love it so much,
Yeah.
because he saw the parallel between Superman and Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and used that.
Wait.
So somebody like me,
Yeah.
just like you were saying with Black Adam, you sit back and you watch it, and the more you watch it, the more you find, the more things that are hidden in there. That's why I keep going back to these movies, because the more I'm there, I'm like, oh, freaking dude, I didn't see that last time. I'm
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio sitting there going, ah, yeah.
Well, with people try to say Zack Snyder made him Jesus, it's like, no, what he's showing is Superman is realizing, I'm not that. You can't carry that. Even as strong as I am, I can't bear the sins of the world, and I can't bear all the stuff. And like, that's the whole thing. It's like that's the greatest thing that he could possibly embody, and he can't. And that's where the brooding comes from.
Yep. Yep.
No matter, you can die and be reborn, you're still not the savior of the world, because the world still hates you, and because you're not a divine being, you're a super alien. You can't bear it because you don't have infinite love for all of humanity, but you try to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopping off of Man of Steel back into Black Adam,
Yeah.
I don't want to get to the post credit scene yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to spend some time there, but I got to say, action wise, it was such a fun film to watch. I could have watched him and Hawkman just beat the crap out of each other forever. It was good. And that's one of the things I love about the DC universe in general. It's a little bit of a love hate, probably 80-20.
Mm-hmm.
I love how powerful their beings are, so they can just beat on each other and do ultimate destruction, and nothing ever really comes of it.
Their fights have weight, unlike a lot of the Marvel movies. Yeah, and scale. Like, people complain about the destruction in Man of Steel, but if you watch it, I think Superman only does one thing that destroys a building, and the rest of it is him fighting these guys who are just as strong as he is, and they are destroying everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know, the way, I never forget the first time I saw Man of Steel. Like, I didn't know how to feel about it, but I remember I was like, those fight scenes were fantastic.
Yeah.
And then when I rewatch, I'm like, holy crap, how did he make CGI look this good? Like,
it still looks good.
Yeah, it still looks great. Yeah, but Black Adam the same way. Like, every hit had weight. And another thing, not to go off on another tangent, but the two young characters weren't annoying.
They were, I will say, they were used sparingly enough to where I didn't feel like they had the chance to get annoying, but they were also so green as grass
Yep.
that it was just like, okay, You know, I don't necessarily know what their purpose was. I don't know outside of comic relief if they weren't in the film, would the film have been any better or worse? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say they were used as pieces to break the action just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but they were far enough in the background to where it's not like, oh, okay, this again. Very,
Yeah.
very Ant-Man style. Like
Mm-hmm.
Ant-Man was my least favorite Marvel movie for a long time
Yeah.
until Miss Marvel. Um, and Ant-Man grew on me over time because to
Boom.
me it seemed more silly, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of bad. But like,
No,
I
Ant
don't know.
Man 2 was good.
I mean, they're both.
I'm probably a little biased because I loved Ghost in it. I loved how she looked, and I loved the actress that played her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's good. I like her from Lost. I didn't love those movies.
Yeah.
I don't love Paul Rudd either. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, for me, I had zero investment in it, and
Mm-hmm.
it was better than I expected. But like, it was like, this is a quality movie, and out
Yeah.
of the lump sum of them, this is like the bottom
Yeah.
tier.
I'm definitely not seeing Quantumanium or
Yeah, I'm
Quantumania,
I'm
whatever.
I'm good.
I don't
I'm
care
I think
about
I'm done.
I don't care about Kang. And like, why
Yeah,
did? Here's my thing, man. We can do a whole video on this. Like, I don't know why Marvel keeps doing this, like growing.
yeah,
When after Thanos, what they should have done is cut everything and introduce mutants, because
yes.
they should have, and it should have been like it could have been a dimensional tear, which I think is stupid. No multiverse crap. It should have been the stones have been used on Earth 3 times now. It's caused a mutation,
Eat
and
boom.
just
You got
start
it,
from there.
dude. Uh, okay, so I don't want to make our whole conversation about Marvel, but like,
Yeah.
you know, I loved um the most recent Spider-Man movie with all three Spider-Men in
No
it.
Way Home.
No Way Home. I couldn't think of it. But what's so frustrating is the entire premise was a drunken wizard got
Mm-hmm.
into an argument with a nerdy teenager and then
Mm-hmm.
caused all that. And it's
Yeah,
just
that
like,
was a very stupid
the
way to
plot
do
was
it.
so bad. The plot was so bad. But they knew they had so much gold on their hands
Mm-hmm.
that it didn't matter what the plot was.
But here's the sad thing. The best part of that movie is everything Sam Raimi did before 20 years ago.
Yeah. I said that walking out of the theaters. This movie is only great because it just took everything done before and made it full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, and even the weird stuff with Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 is one of the greatest
It's good.
Marvel films ever made.
It's way better than I remember when I rewatched it.
And see, I think Andrew Garfield is an amazing Spider-Man. He plays the loner skater kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that fits that. To me, that fits like what a Peter Parker could and should be in a modern age.
He was the most emotional one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he just like it just worked. Now, don't get me wrong. What's funny?
I saw a meme. It was him talking to the Tobey Maguire one, and Andrew Garfield was like, "I had a girlfriend named Gwen," and Tobey Maguire said, "I did too," and Andrew Garfield said, "She got thrown off of a roof." And Tobey Maguire said, "Mine did too, but I saved her." And Andrew Garfield looks at him, and Tobey Maguire goes, "Oh, you can't do that, can you?" It was the scene, the web shooter scene or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I died laughing.
That's so funny. And
Sorry.
that whole thing, the whole interaction between them was
Mm-hmm.
essentially a meme brought to life.
Yeah.
And that was so good. And again, that fixed that whole just abysmal plot hole. It's just like, I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh. The thing I hate the most about Tom Holland is oh, Mr. Stark, oh my gosh, you're such a nerdy little Peter Parker, Mr. Stark. It drives me insane.
He's like Morty from Rick and Morty.
Yes, it drives me nuts. And then they did that. I'm like, oh gosh, it's happening. It's happening again. Here we are. Oh, Mr. Strange. Oh no, I need my girlfriends and my grades. I need to go to college together. I'm like, I'm freaking Spider-Man, but I just want to be pretend. He was driving me nuts. And then the way he does that little nerdy nasally, super fast talking thing. And then it's like, oh, here we are. This is really good. The first half of the movie, get it out of here.
Hmm.
um, but again, I'm not here to bag on
No,
Marvel. I'm here to
but
praise Black Adam
yeah,
for being a really good film.
Black Adam, I think, could have been the first. I think it could have been the prototype of a whole new era of DC. Like I thought it was so good. Like I don't know, man. I think if you were gonna relaunch DC, that was a great way to
That
do
was a
it.
good. That would have been a way to go. Yeah.
It's
And
yeah, it was like Morbius. Not to bring it in, but like Morbius wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it's like Black Adam and that. Like the internet just ruined them. Like they just made fun of it so much. But like, and it's like, man, if you sit down and watch Black Adam with some popcorn, you're not gonna be disappointed.
no, definitely not, dude. And I actually really like Morbius.
I did too. I thought it was better than most of the Marvel stuff.
I 100% agree, and I get made fun of for that because most people didn't watch Morbius,
Hmm.
so they're just like, "Oh, it's Morbius time," and I think that movie was really well done. Granted, the last boss fight, the last, the
Yeah.
kind of conclusion, it was left a lot to be desired, but the struggle between him and his friend,
Hmm.
and his friend inheriting those same
Hmm.
characteristics and traits, and then using it for to be vain and to self, saying fulfill it. It was that was a really good dynamic between the two. And then like I think that Jared Leto's a really good actor personally, so I think he did a good job as Morbius.
I think he looked great as Morbius and did it. I think he.
I agree.
I don't know. I can't. I mean, I guess there's parts of it that weren't great, but I mean, to me, it was like a solid 7 out of 10 for a comic book movie.
Yeah, which I'm all for a nice
Yeah.
seven. I mean, that's my favorite games or sevens. Gotham Knights is one of them. This game is got some
and
flaws.
the
I
other
love it.
the other thing, Black Adam, I couldn't find anything that looked bad. Like you need the CGI because, and The Rock he even went on record with saying that he made sure they used like VFX for most of the stuff, and it looks like it. It looks fantastic. Like
Yeah, dude.
I can't. I think people dog it just because they haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and I think that it's unfortunate because this movie didn't make a ton of money,
Hmm.
and it's not going to get a sequel. And this would have been a great setup for a trilogy.
Hmm.
In my opinion, the trilogy should have gone like this: Black Adam, Black Adam Shazam, Black Adam Shazam Superman.
Yeah, I think what they should have done is movie 2. I think Amanda Waller should have conscripted Shazam because she would know who he is by now. He's just a kid.
Mhm.
That's who she could be, and that would really show how devious she is basically blackmailed this kid to go fight Black Adam. Because I mean, I don't know if Superman would do it or not, because they kind of leave that up in the air with the last scene,
Yeah,
which was perfect. But
it
yeah,
was such a good. Dan, and that's the part that makes me so mad because the end credit scene was so perfect.
hmm
It just left it wide open. You could have gone anywhere. The music score was
hmm
a traditional Superman score, modernized. His suit was a traditional take with the modern, you know what I'm saying, upgrade. Like it was Henry freaking Cavill, the Superman, in my
yeah, the
opinion,
only Superman.
the Superman. And it was just like, hey, we need to talk.
Yep.
And I just wanted to freaking scream because it was like, this should have been the moment that made me pop. And like, this is so amazing. But internally, I was just like, I'm so dead inside because you took this away from me before I had a chance to really enjoy it.
The best, I really think. I mean, it's a great origin story for Black Adam. And the moment The Rock, to me, became Black Adam in that movie was when he looks at Amanda Waller and says, "Send them all." And I was like, "Dude, that's a Black Adam. That's a Black Adam line." And then
Yeah.
Superman shows up and he doesn't flinch. I'm like, "Yep, that's Black Adam."
Yeah, yeah. It's so frustrating because we've been robbed.
Yep.
Like, we've been robbed. Like they should have never put it in there. They should have never let it out. And the fact they changed their mind 2 months later, like
They didn't know. They had no idea what was going to happen. I think they're so incompetent because Warner Brothers controls everything they do. And doesn't somebody own Warner Brothers now?
Discovery just bought them from
Yeah.
AT&T.
I think they had no idea. I think they probably were just going with The Rock, working with him. I think James Gunn is just a puppet. I don't think that guy has much say in anything. I think he just has to go back to the share owners, whatever they are, and be like, yeah, we're doing everything. Because
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
I'm
frustrating.
not excited about James Gunn. I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't see the Suicide Squad. Maybe I should, but I don't care. I don't care to see a bunch of villains murder a bunch of people and laugh about it.
That's what it is. It's so. Did you watch Peacemaker?
No, I mean, here's the thing. I love The Rock and I love John Cena and I love Batista because for this simple reason, wrestlers have eaten crap for so long.
Hmm.
They know how to please fans better than anybody. They will do
Yep.
anything for fan approval. They don't care about critics. They don't care about numbers. They don't care about any of that because those are the guys that will spend 10 years breaking their backs in a ring to get one shot at a title
Hmm.
belt. So I have the utmost respect for wrestlers turn actors, even if they're not good, because I know what those dudes will go through to please the fans.